Welcome to Travel Italia, the show about travel in Italy. Welcome to Travel Italia. In this episode, we're going to talk about how to travel from Rome to Florence via high-speed train. You'll learn everything you need to know about this popular train route, everything from how to buy tickets online to which train stations you need to travel to and from. In episode 2, I talked about whether it's better to travel by train or car in Italy. So check out that episode if you're considering renting a car versus traveling by train. But in this episode, I want to focus in on the details of how to take the high-speed train from Rome to Florence. Rome and Florence are the most visited cities in Italy, so many tourists want to visit both during their trip. Taking the high-speed train is definitely the easiest, fastest way to travel. It only takes an hour and 37 minutes to get from Rome to Florence in a high-speed train. If you were to drive or take a bus to Florence, it would take you at least 3 hours and 10 minutes without traffic. If you were to take the normal regional train, not the high-speed train, it would take 3 hours and 45 minutes. So you can see how the high-speed train definitely saves you precious time. I get a lot of questions about how the trains, especially the high-speed trains, work in Italy. It can be a little intimidating to navigate the first time around, but believe me, once you've done it, it is a piece of cake. So let's get started. First, let's talk about which train stations you need to travel to and from. Maybe you're thinking, oh, come on, how hard can it possibly be? But believe me, I've known people who have booked train tickets to the wrong station, or worse, have gotten off the train at the wrong station. It's important to know which stations to travel to and from because there are a lot of train stations in both Rome and Florence. There isn't just one train station in each city. The rail network in Italy is pretty extensive and people use trains a lot. So bigger cities have multiple stations. Let's start with Rome. The main train station of Rome is called Roma Termini. Roma Termini is the largest station and is the closest to the historical city center. Most people, when they visit Rome, stay obviously in the historical center of the city. So this is the station you want to leave from, Roma Termini, which I'll put all these names in the show notes for you. The station you want to arrive at in Florence is called Santa Maria Novella. So like Roma Termini, Santa Maria Novella is in the heart of Florence, and it's the main station closest to the historical center of the city. In fact, you can walk from the station to the pedestrian center of town in 10 to 15 minutes. So in the many times I've been to Florence, I like to book a hotel that is walking distance to both the sites and the train station because it's just very convenient. Of course, if you're staying in the outskirts of the city or say in Fiesole, which is a town up on the hill overlooking Florence, you can take a cab or public transportation, no problem. So we've established the names of the stations you need to travel to and from are Roma Termini and Santa Maria Novella. So now let's talk about train options. There are 2 different high-speed train companies in Italy. The Italian state-run train company is called Trenitalia, and they operate the Frecciarossa high-speed trains. Okay. The other company is a private company called Italo. Prices for each of these companies are about the same, and the service, the speed of the trains, everything's about the same. They each run different offers and specials throughout the year, so that may vary on what kind of discounts you can get. But otherwise, they're about equal in price, like I said, or service. So the two companies are called Frecciarossa, run by the State Rail Service, Trenitalia, and the other is Italo. Again, I'll put all of this in the show notes for you. So, how do you go about buying tickets? You can buy your tickets online directly from the company websites, which, again, I will put in the show notes. These are obviously Italian companies, so when you visit the websites, they are in Italian, but in the top right-hand corner of each of these websites, there's an option to navigate the website in English. You just have to choose English from a drop-down menu. The websites are easy to use. You can see all the options and all the different kinds of fares. They offer, cheap economy tickets that are non-changeable, non-refundable, all the way to fully refundable and changeable tickets. Each company also offers different classes. So economy, which is just basic, business class, and first class seating. So each class obviously has some perks, free coffee, free snacks, all the way to just bare bones economy, which means you get nothing. I have to tell you, though, that even the economy seating is really comfortable and you have lots of legroom compared to a flight. There's usually Wi-Fi available, and in economy, they have vending machines for snacks and coffee. I know a lot of people who travel in Italy like to use third-party websites like Trainline or Omio to buy their tickets. These sites are helpful, especially if you're traveling by train from another country to Italy, because the websites, Trainline, Omio, and maybe there's others that I'm not aware of, but these are the ones that I know, they will show you international train routes. So, for example, if you are taking a train from France to Italy, these sites would be useful. But if you're only traveling in Italy, you can save a little money by directly going to Trenitalia or Italo's websites, because these third-party websites like Trainline and Omio, they will charge you a small fee when you're booking your ticket. So it's not a lot of money, but you can certainly save a little bit there. If you decide to book your tickets from Trenitalia or Italo, you avoid these fees, and you can also get discounts. So for example, Italo's got a discount for young people under 30, and I think both offer senior discounts. There's different kinds of discounts at different times of the year, offers, etc. If you do use Italo or Trenitalia's website, note that even though you can navigate the site in English, the name of the cities are in Italian. So Rome is Roma and Florence is Firenze. When you're choosing between fares, be sure to pay attention to the conditions of your tickets. Like I said, some are changeable, some are refundable, and the cheapest tickets are neither refundable nor changeable. So once you pay for your tickets online, you'll get an email confirmation with the QR code. Trenitalia, Italo, Omio, and Trainline all have apps, so you can download the apps in advance, which is a good idea. The day of travel, you want to get to the train station with plenty of time to navigate your way through what is sometimes a chaotic train station and find your platform, which in Italian is called a binario. A word of warning about Italian train stations. You need to pay attention to the board listing the status of the trains and platform number. It's not uncommon for a train to switch platforms at the very last minute. It's happened to me before, more than once, unfortunately. There was one time I was in Verona waiting at the listed platform on the board. I was with a group of people and we were chatting, not paying attention to the loudspeaker announcements, but all of a sudden we saw all the people who were waiting on the platform with us start running down the stairs to the underground pass and onto another platform. So not having heard the announcement, we just followed them, which was a good idea. because the platform number had been changed 1 minute before the scheduled departure time. And it was only announced via a loudspeaker announcement, which we obviously did not hear. Folks, this is Italy, so things like this do happen. Once you get to your platform, look at your ticket for the car number. Each car of the train has its own number. On your ticket, you'll be assigned car number and seat number. At some of the larger train stations, there are markings on the platform itself showing you where to stand for each car number. And it's also important to note that you won't be asked to show your ticket or your ID prior to boarding the train. What happens is once you're seated on the train and you start traveling, a conductor will come around and check your tickets and your ID. So obviously you can have a printed out ticket or just a digital version. It doesn't matter. So it's really important that you actually get on the right train. I know that sounds silly, but I've seen it happen. Check the train number, your platform, your binario number before boarding the train, because unlike a flight, there isn't anyone checking to see if you're on the right train. I saw this play out once on a high-speed train from Milan to Florence. At one of the stops, an Italian woman got on the train and she was busy having a conversation on the phone. The train started moving and suddenly she realized she was on the wrong train and started yelling and crying and asking for help. She was apparently on her way to a very important meeting and had just ruined her day. It's actually really sad. The thing is that if this happens to you, what you have to do is get off on the next stop, which on a high-speed train could be hundreds of miles. You get off the train and then you have to buy a new ticket going to the correct destination. So just pay attention and avoid that kind of drama. Okay, so far we talked about train stations, the two high-speed rail companies, Frecciarossa and Italo, how to buy tickets online, and what to expect the day of travel. I'd like to also talk about how to save money on train tickets. A lot of people wait until they're in Italy to buy tickets at the train station ticket counter on the day they want to travel. I have to tell you, this is the absolute worst way to buy tickets because you'll be paying the highest price possible. And you'll have to spend a lot of time waiting in line or, just figuring out the details at the self-help kiosk online. It's really a waste of time. And if there's one thing you don't want to do on your vacation is waste precious time. I'm all about saving time and money when I travel. So to do that, you have to plan ahead. I'll give you an example. If I visit Italo's website and look for the cheapest ticket from Rome to Florence 1 week from today, the price for a round-trip ticket is €69.80. But if I book the same exact round-trip ticket 2 months from now, the ticket only costs €19.80. That's about $22 US. That is an absolute deal. Of course, the cheapest fare is non-refundable or changeable, but you see what I mean. You see the savings. That's a difference of €50 a person. That's €50 you could buy a very nice meal with and a bottle of wine. So it does pay to plan in advance. Well, folks, that's all I have for you today. Some of you may be thinking that this sounds complicated, that maybe it sounds even a little scary. But believe me, once you've done it, it is really not a big deal. It's a piece of cake. Trust me. I recommend you watch my YouTube channel where I have a video tutorial that walks you through step by step on how to buy train tickets online. I'll include that in the show notes. Also in the show notes, I'll include all the links I mentioned and the names and locations of the train stations Roma Termini and Santa Maria Novella in Florence. I hope this has been helpful. If so, please rate the show, share it with your travel buddies, and follow my new YouTube channel. Thank you for your time. I wish you a buon viaggio.